what I can't produce myself in power, water, food, I have to buy like everybody else on the local market. And one of the reasons we have such a hard problem of, maintaining a modern society on this island is because we have high energy costs.
And much of our resources is linked to the cost of oil. So as cost of oil goes down, like we've seen recently, the prices have gone down, and that's what you've seen. You've seen the price of the electricity going down. But the long-term strategy is still to find resources that are not dependent on oil, are lower cost than what we pay for today, and use that to drive down the cost. And one of the strategies is geothermal, which is not always popular, wind, and some solar.
We're talking about pricing here, Jay. I don't see how much you pay Fluent Geothermal for the power, 11 to 19 cents. Is that correct?
Currently, it's below 19. Currently, it's in that 11 cents.
And it depends on the contract, but that's not 2/3 of your cost. So you're sitting there and saying that 2/3 of our cost is related to production, but you're only paying 19 cents, which is less than 50%. That's not 2/3. So how do you get through with 2/3?
It's about 2/3 is related to the cost of
how do you
generation.
get there? See, I don't see it, because what I see is you got production costs, which you're paying, which is 19 cents at the highest, and your sales is 43 cents. The difference is distribution. Everything else is distribution, because you buy the power and you distribute it. What else do you do?
It's gone down from that 42. It's lower now with the lower price of oil. But that's the strategy, is to drive that down.
And what I studied of your company is the fact that you make money out of your inefficiencies. And I've talked, some of my relatives actually work for your company, and they say that. They are the people doing the work on the grid. Of course, both of these people are retired now. But one of their gripes was that your company made money from being inefficient because they had PUC in their pocket. So what's going to change here?
With a large amount of photovoltaic interconnected to the grid, we do run into technical challenges, managing the voltage and also managing the overall system stability. So it's not a resistance, it's finding the technical solutions to still allow grid tie and still manage the reliability and safety of the system. As far as the second part of your question, I really cannot answer that. I don't understand what that part is.
We're a renewable energy company. Okay, we're in 27 states. For those of you taking the time to look at some of the posters, this is what we do. We've been doing renewable energy for over 20 years. We've invested over $20 billion in it. And so one of the questions you ask yourself when you're in the renewable energy business is, why aren't we in Hawaii? Because while it's not a large place to invest compared to some other larger states, the importance of renewable energy is higher here, given your dependency on oil, right? And the ability to take lower cost renewables and substitute for higher cost oil is really exciting when you're in the clean energy business. So that's one. And the other thing, and that's what brought us here in the first place, what got us to start thinking about Hawaiian Electric was we also have a utility. That utility was the most dependent on oil in the nation. Just back in 2001, we burned 40 million barrels of oil a year. Okay, to put that in context, the Hawaiian Electric companies burn about 9 million barrels of oil now. So we were way bigger in terms of oil consumption than Hawaii is today. We invested in our system, reduced our dependency on oil, cut it 99%, saved our customers a bunch of money, and that was our process, our journey over the last 15 years. We look at Hawaiian Electric now; they're the largest consumer of oil in the power business in the U.S. You may all know this. Every time I think about this, it kind of amazes me. This state burns more oil for power generation than all the other 49 states put together. Okay, even though you've only got 1.4 million people. And so it's a huge opportunity when you have the renewable energy resources that you have here. So that's what brought us here. Of course, as a a privately owned, investor-owned company. It had to make financial sense. Okay, but the strategic rationale was what I just articulated.